Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use models, crocheting models created in CrochetPARADE and use them in Blender, which is a 3D modeling software which is also open source and freely available to all. So let's start. We're going to start by using one of the demos, in this case the baby bootie. Here are the crocheting instructions. We're going to calculate the model for the baby bootie. Here it is. Now up here on the top right, you're going to see what I'm doing with the mouse and what buttons I'm pressing on the keyboard. So for example, if you press C, you're going to see the yarn rendered without all the arrows and all that extra information. So right now the baby bootie, if I export it, if I export the model, the yarn will be this thick, but I want it to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to press Ctrl plus, or rather Control and then equal sign to make it thicker, so something like this. Alright, so this yarn thickness makes more sense, so I'm going to export this model in a file format which is suitable for Blender. Okay, so here it is, and we're going to save the scene. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to open Blender, and we're going to run and we're going to import this model in Blender. Now I had to record that video separately because Blender is really slow on my computer. I have a really old computer. So here is the tutorial on Blender. So you can click on the file menu and then import GOTF type of file, and then you select the file that you've just saved, and there is the bootie. It's going to show up for a fraction of a second. Now I want to get rid of this cube. I just select it and delete it. Now you can rotate the bootie. Here it is in Blender. You can select certain nodes. Now I want to be able to manipulate the whole model, so I'm going to select all the nodes and then I'm going to join them into a single object. That's in Layout, Object, and then Join, or Control J. So here it is, it's a single object. Now I'm going to add a hair. Okay, you can add fur type of texture so that the yarn looks more like yarn. I'm going to use empty hair in this case, and then I'm going to specify exactly what the hair would look like. I'm going to remove that modifier, search a modifier, add set hair curve properties, and set the radius of each hair to 1 millimeter. And then I'm going to generate the hair. It should be on the mesh. As you can see, the default is hairs of length 1 meter. We need to shorten those to something like 1 centimeter, no, even less, maybe, oh, actually 2 centimeters. Okay, so then we're going to add 9 control points per hair. We're going to increase the density of the hairs, and I just selected the Poisson disc distribution. You can add it or not, doesn't matter. So here we need the hair material if we want to have a particular color for the hair. So we're going to do that in a bit. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the frizz to the hair curves. I'm just going to use the defaults. So this is what it looks like. We're going to increase the hair density in the end, but first let's do some shading. And here we're going to create a new material, and we're going to use the principal BSDF, and I made it purple, and then we're going to select that material in the menu for the generate hair curves, and there it is, it's purple. And you can see what the rendered picture would look like. Alright, so let's go back to the layout. Let's see the rendered image. Okay, so this is viewport shading. Let's click on, yep, this one, and let's increase the density of hairs to something like 100,000. And this is going to take a little bit of time. And there you are. Now you have more realistic hair. So picture it as a hair fuzzy yarn, and you can move around the project and you can see the bootie from all sides. So what else can you do in Blender other than, add all kinds of textures? Well, something else you can do is you can add all kinds of physical properties. So I'm going to select the mesh and I'm going to turn it into a cloth because that's what it is. And now that cloth will obey things like the law of universal gravitation. So if you let it will go under free fall. Well, actually there is a little bit of air viscosity added to the physics engine in Blender by default. I'm going to put a floor where I want the bootie to land, so I'm going to just drop it on the floor. So here is a plane. I'm going to move it. Yeah, I'm just moving it under the bootie, and I'm going to increase it in size in a second. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so let's increase the size of the floor. Bam. Alrighty, and I need to add some physics to that floor. It needs to respond to collisions. I don't want the floor to be falling, so it won't be moving under gravity. It's not going to be behaving as a rigid body in that regard. And if you press play, the bootie is going to start falling. Now it takes a while, so here I'm going to speed it up, I think by a factor of 10 or something. And you're going to keep seeing a message that Blender is not responding. That's because, again, my computer is really slow. So let's watch the bootie fall. And there it is. You are going to see some artifacts because, again, my computer can't handle the prerequisites of Blender. If you have a more powerful machine, that blurriness is going to disappear. And if you render this as an output movie, if you output the movie from Blender, it will look more normal. So let's zoom in. As you saw, the bootie just landed as a piece of cloth, and here it is. All the yarn is just flattened up, as you might expect. And of course, you can save your project. And with that, my introduction to using CrochetPARADE in Blender is over. I'm not an expert in Blender, so if you guys have any Blender questions, you should really talk with the Blender community. What I showed you is the capabilities of Blender 4, 4.0. You can get it from blender.org. I think that's the website. Is it blender.org? Yep, this is where you can get it for free. And just be aware, Blender is a work in progress, so options are constantly evolving under it, but the basic principles are the same, even if you're not using this same version when you're importing your project. All right, well, have a good one, everybody. Take care.